So, good morning and welcome to the Dominate Ductless podcast, where this morning we're going to tell a little bit of a different story today. I have a partner that Dominate Ductless has partnered with in training, and it's my pleasure to introduce Lisa Forrest from Contractor Commerce to the podcast this morning. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here too. Well, hey, Lisa, let's get right into it. For contractors who have never heard about Contractor Commerce, give us a 60-second elevator pitch. What is it and, what problems does it solve for contractors? Just give us the elevator pitch on it.
Yeah. So simply put, it is a e-commerce platform for the trades. So we plug into the contractor's website, giving them the capability to sell their products, services, and even do online estimates for homeowners. The problem it solves is homeowners are online shoppers. We can get priced on pretty much anything today. Everything's so digital focused. We've got, our cell phones at our fingertips. How are you meeting that customer where they're at? And something like a store on your website works 24/7. So meet that customer where they're at, open the conversation about your products and services and what you do, and allow your website to guide them through that experience through your brand.
Excellent. So, as we all know, right, the HVAC industry has been very slow to adapt digitally compared to other trades. Why do you think that is?
Well, I always compare it to the automotive. We are definitely behind the automotive industry by at least 10 years, maybe even a little bit more. But I think that we have a lot of businesses where these contractors are family-owned businesses or their friends or partners, and they've done such a good job in their community that naturally word of mouth has brought them business. But our world has changed. Like I mentioned earlier, Consumers shop online. You can get information in a matter of moments. Like if I snap my fingers, I could get an answer on something. So I think there's just that disconnect, but it has rapidly changed. So it's definitely something that, we're passionate about educating contractors. Like, hey, you better do something and be a part of the conversation or you're going to be left behind.
I keep saying that in my training because I see more e-commerce companies, I'm going to call them, that are not contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And they're dominating our market in a lot of areas. And I keep telling contractors, I said, the only way you're going to beat screens is by having Contractor Commerce. Because you have to get on board, and why is now the time for contractors to get on board?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but about 6 weeks ago, Google added a filter in the top near the top search bar that says online estimates. So if I go type something in that I'm looking for, online estimates is now a filter that we're filtered down to anybody that's talking about pricing. And I actually did a test here in my market. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I typed in, hey, I'm looking for an HVAC quote in Charlotte. Help me, or whatever verbiage I put in there.
Yeah.
But what was really cool is when I filtered down to that online estimates, 4 of our customers showed up and led them to that experience for that homeowner to begin. So when homeowners are looking for something, Google is going to act, right? They don't just throw something on their website to throw it on there. They're following consumer behavior. That's
amazing because, and I think that just from hearing that, if these contractors don't get on board with online estimates, I feel like they're all so afraid of it. I don't know why. And I said that I was teaching a class this week up in New Jersey, and I rolled the clock back 15 years ago. And I said, you guys all bitched and complained about when manufacturers sold products online and they showed the price of the condenser and the evaporator and everything else. And it's like, you better stop worrying about that because this company's now, I'm seeing, like you're saying, everybody's on board. Why is everyone so afraid of showing a price to a consumer when they're going to show it to them in their home?
Exactly. I think before, consumers were looking at pricing as a comparison, right? Because that's all they knew. But now we're more educated. We can get information so
Yeah.
quickly that now it's more about just clarity and what to expect. I want to avoid surprises. I mean, I'm a millennial. I have some traditional tendencies, but I'm a busy lady. I travel for this job. Time is of the essence. When I am looking for something, I want to get it done. I am not shopping on price. Like I want to, if a company is going to reach out to me and give me the information and say, all right, we'll come, we'll come out to verify some things. Boom. That's somebody that I want to do business with.
Yeah, I mean, I can't understand why. Think about this. I mean, there's a statistic of people over 65, 60% of them today are booking restaurants online.
Yeah.
70% of those people are buying things on Amazon. I mean, and yet we're still antiquated. I look at so many guys who are still antiquated in this contracting world that makes zero sense to me. So how does it work? Walk us through what a contractor's website looks like once Contractor Commerce is plugged in. What can a homeowner actually do there? How does it all happen?
What's great is we plug onto their existing website. So whomever manages their website, we give them a little snippet of code that they plug on there. And then we work with the contractor to set up, what parts of the service they want. The cool thing is we stay on the website. We want that homeowner spending time on that contractor's website. They're not going to a third party page. And then really what they get to choose is, hey, do I want to sell any filters or custom products? Hey, memberships, those are your customers that you are essentially your loyalty that you're at least in twice a year. Well, give them the opportunity to buy that service or renew that membership on the website. Because again, your website works 24/7. You probably don't want to take a phone call at 12 o'clock at night when some people are night owls and they're like, oh, I got to renew my membership.
I mean, think about that. You can sell your memberships online. You can sell your products online. I mean, you can sell so many things. You can sell filters online. Can you talk a little bit about the filter side of it?
Yeah, so Contractor Commerce has relationships direct with manufacturers and distributors. We stock and inventory filters at 5 locations all throughout the United States. And we pass the costs that we receive from that manufacturer or distributor to our customer. We buy very, 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 very many filters, lots and lots of filters. So customers see savings in that realm. They get to choose what they're going to charge the customer. So they mark them up as high or as competitive as they want. And customers can come on, buy the filter. They could even sign up for a subscription, which I say is a no-brainer. That's another touch point with your customer. That's an opportunity to put Mr. HVAC company in front of that customer throughout the year beside a maintenance visit or, whatever marketing you do currently.
I was actually just talking to a contractor the other day that I coach, and he uses your system. And he said to me, the biggest revenue stream that I get out of it where people actually put their credit cards in is on my service agreements. Mm-hmm. He said, people go to get the quote for the system, and then they tend to pick up the phone and they call us and stuff. Yeah. He said, my revenue stream is credit card swipes on my my plans. So, I mean, which ones do you see contractors benefiting from the most right away when they first do it? Is there a section on the revenue stream that you see them benefit the most on?
So I would say it's the estimates. That part, the homeowner's walking through and getting that quote. That contractor's still going out to the home to verify some things like, is it really in their basement? Do they really have, is it a single zone or is it multi-zone? They're just verifying what the customer is entering. And then they start selling the value of their company. So I've seen customers onboard in less than a week and already have a lead and sell a job. In fact, our president just shared a note from a customer that said, hey, we got a quote last night, sold a 30,000 job in less than 20 hours.
So it only takes a week to get set up, time frame?
So we move at the speed of the contractor. It is
you're really being nice.
Some are faster than others, but
I agree with you there. I'm trying to set up some price books with some contractors I coach, and I send to another partner to do their not online quoting, but their quoting tools for inside homes. And, and my partner's telling me it should take 4 to 6 weeks max to set up an entire price book for unitary, ductless, everything. And here we are 4 and 6 months later. So Tell me a little bit about this one, because this is where I got to have you emphasize on this stuff, because you can't put it all on Contractor Commerce.
No. And that's not the intent. This isn't their entire price book. It's going to be their top 40, 50 matchups that is going to answer the general questions that the homeowner's seeking, right? And typically what I see is, one, they're either downloading their price book, they're sending it to us. They set up a 30 to 45-minute call with our team. They have their price book pulled up and we're like, okay, what's your price on a single zone? In this location? Boom, we're filling it out for them. And the filters are already in the system. They're just setting the markup, and then we build their maintenance plan. If they work with a platform like Service Titan, which we have a direct integration with, we can pull over the service membership that they have built in Service Titan over into Contractor Commerce so that it's a communicative integration per se. But again, like I've seen the whole product launched in a week. On average, it's 2 to 3 weeks for most contractors.
What other softwares can you integrate with, or is just Service Titan the only one, or can you integrate with all through Zapier connections?
Yes. Yep. So we do have a Zapier connection. We've got webhooks, API. We integrate with tools like Smart AC, Chirp, and Hatch, which are text automated follow-up, because, salespeople don't typically follow up routinely. And so
pull into Hatch and Chirp.
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I was talking to a contractor. Matter of fact, again, I was doing training this week, and I'm not here to talk negative about anybody's, but he had said he had left Chirp, he went to Hatch. Hatch was doing a few more things that Chirp wouldn't do, and I guess it might be based on what they are, but I mean, those are automated softwares that are getting to the homeowners.
Yeah, like text message, texting has a better response rate, right? Like phone calls, people are busy, they forget someone called, but having campaigns already pre-built out for whatever facet that lead comes through, it's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, I always try to tell them, you've got to get this stuff onto your website. So let me ask you this question. Let's go into like a heat pump specific angle here. And, we see most contractors, we have a few that are just heat pump related, and I'm seeing more going that way. But we also, we have the unitary guys and we have the ductless guys that do a little bit of both. For contractors who specialize in certain things, how does this all work? Maybe they're doing, Mitsubishi, they might be doing another brand. How does this online store give them an edge, over the generalist HVAC company? How did, down the street, how is this all going to come together?
One thing I say is gives you the competitive edge, right? You're the one answering what homeowners are seeking. You mentioned something about, hey, homeowners are asking for online pricing. 70% or more want to see a price before they work with a contractor. There's other statistics and things that are related to that, but I think it gives them the cutting edge, right? They're able to share their service and why they're a specialty and begin that conversation even before that homeowner picks up the phone. So that homeowner is already a little bit educated why, let's just say, Dominate Ductless HVAC is the superior installer in XYZ market. And now it's really just going in and solidifying the things and answering questions that homeowners may have because they've already started their research before they've made that decision.
I don't know why so many guys are so afraid of it.
I think that they think that that homeowner's going to see that price and be like, oh, well, your website told me 12,000. Why is it now 13, 1,500 or whatever the difference is, right? There's ways that they can answer that question of different pricing additionals, right? Like, hey, this doesn't include, us replacing, lines and things like that, but they can build that value within different resources that we send to that homeowner.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still so, maybe it's just different parts of the country. I don't know. Do you see any different you do a lot of traveling. I mean, I follow you on LinkedIn, I follow you on Facebook, and I see like you are everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, you must have more Marriott and Delta points on whatever airline you fly on. Than, and I mean, but do you see different parts of the country? You go to different events, you see different things. What do you see? Do you feel that, or is that just me?
No, I do think that there is some truth to that. But what's really cool is I grew up in Iowa. So anytime I see anybody from Iowa, I get really excited and I give a shout out, But, typically Midwestern people are a little bit more guarded in that sense and want to see it doing well in other areas. But I actually talked to one of my customers in Iowa a couple weeks ago, and they did a mailer with a QR code that had some language that said, "Hey, interested in replacing your system or need a second opinion? Give us a call." So they did a test. Within a few days, they had 20 something people walk through and get a quote. And he said, if we get that appointment booked, we're closing them at 70% or higher. I was like, wait, can you repeat that? He's like, yeah, our close rate is 70% or higher when we get in front of that homeowner. And then the other cool part he told me was we're getting ready to mail out 30,000 of these. And I'm like, well, let's have a conversation in a month because I want to see what numbers you're doing at that point. And that's in Iowa. In Iowa.
I when I was in business and my marketing company helped me with this, Comfort Media helped me with this. And I'm going to roll the clock back 15 years probably. And this was about cost and it was about price. And we created as a group, a cost of ductless page. And it just, when you looked at my rankings and how things, were done with Google 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, it was the highest ranking page on my website. So that tells me people want to know 4 things before they go buy something. And I think you'll vouch with me. What does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
How does it work? How's it going to solve my problem? And how long is it going to take to get done?
Yep.
And the cost was the biggest thing. And I ask that to guys in training all the time. I'm like, what is the first thing someone wants to know about what you do? And if you were thinking about buying a heat pump today, what do you want to know? They all go cost. Okay, but let's not put a cost system on our website. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, but that doesn't sound right, so... it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But can a contractor set up their store with features specified ductless packages and like single zones, wall mounts, dual zone systems, and so the customer can actually get a real quote and not just a pricing page?
Yeah. So what we call it is a buying journey, right? This homeowner's beginning the journey of what this service is going to cost them, right? So they're entering a little bit of information about themselves, name, phone number, where they live, because we want to make sure these are opportunities within that contractor service area. So someone like me, I'm not getting a quote in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm no near any contractor in that way. So it's going to stop me there. Then it starts asking qualifying questions and what that homeowner is looking for. Like you mentioned, single zone or multi-zone or, location and those types of situations affect the price. And then what comes out at the end is a good, better, best, or however they label their packages. And they get to curate that experience. Whether, hey, I just want to show a monthly price because a lot of homeowners are financing. So I want to give them that monthly investment. They can show both. They can say, hey, this is a fully installed price. Some contractors use that language because they want to price condition the homeowner and weed out the tire kickers. Some will say things like this is an estimated install price or starting at, because it doesn't include things like additionals and maybe the membership that you're going to include on. So again, it's curated to what they want that experience to be for the homeowner.
Yeah. I keep saying to guys, I was thinking about this the other day as I see a lot, I'm really promoting in this first module of my training is really very high on the power of video, and everyone, TikTok, social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these social platforms. And I see a lot of them that they do video and they have no strategy with it. Mm-hmm. And the strategy part of it, I think would run so great with this tool because I'm looking at, learn more. I can hit a learn more button on a social site and then go somewhere and go do something. And to me, that could be the buyer's journey.
Yeah.
Or, when people say, get an estimate or, request an estimate. Okay, I'm thinking I'm going to press that and I'm going to have to fill all this stuff out. And then someone's going to call me and blah, 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 where I would say, request an estimate. Boom. Go right here. Mm-hmm. Here's your estimate.
Yeah.
Why do I even need to pick up? I'm looking, that speed to lead section is of people filling out forms and contractors calling back. That is such an antiquated system in today's marketplace, but you can't believe how many of them are still doing that in today's world.
Yeah, they just don't know, right? Or there's, like you said, they're scared to do it. But I mean, we're working with well over 1,000 contractors and growing each and every day that, and I think my favorite part of it is the ones that say, oh, I'm never going to do this. Or I looked at you guys a couple years ago, but it's time because, whether it's the Google filter or customers calling in, hey, I need a ballpark quote. I need a ballpark quote. They're like, we got to get ahead of this.
I gotcha. So, I mean, now they're not just going to a call us in a pricing page, they're going to real live things, So, I mean, give us a real world example of what kind of results contractors are seeing in terms of lead, maybe revenue or time saved. Is there any real world examples you can give us on something like that?
And I have many. And that's one thing, like when we meet with contractors, we share some stories or we'll pull up a contract within their region that they may know, like, hey, this is what so-and-so. But what I'll tell you as a general roll-up is of the customers that go through and get an estimate, about 45% are booking into an in-home visit. Once that happens, the close rate is 70% or higher.
You know what? If someone knows what something costs and they have you to their house,
it's sold. Right?
I agree with you 100%. Think about this. If you went online, you got a quote, you got an estimate, and you went to someone, and now they're inviting you to their home to pretty much sign up. I mean, I think you could even, I'm seeing, honestly, on e-commerce, the guys that aren't contractors have even gotten a step more advanced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where they're swiping the card and they haven't even done a job yet. They've done nothing. Oh my God. And I keep telling guys, they're invading your marketplace, guys. So if you want to, if an internet screen is stealing your business, you better get on board.
Oh, for sure.
Get on board. It's stealing your business.
Yeah. I encourage contractors that are listening to this, like go type in, hey, I'm looking for an HVAC quote in your city and see what pops up. You're going to see there's very few contractors that are answering that question. It's your tech companies and your lead funnels, which those are great tools. But again, they're not the trusted contractor that's in the home meeting with that customer. Or it's a retailer, like a big box store, which again, contractors that are listening to this and that we work with, Mike, aren't going to a home and installing a drop ship unit from a retailer. So again,
and they better do. I think that's one advantage we do have over the big box retailers. And, I don't know. We live in a very fast world where a lot of e-commerce is going on. I'm not gonna even say what I'm thinking right now, but everyone probably knows what I'm thinking. And there's a few big e-commerce contractors out there. And I'm going to tell you, I had a conversation with a contractor the other day in California who was thinking about creating a nationwide company that doesn't do work. And I keep saying this to guys. There's a ton of low barrier to entry contractors in the United States right now. And I don't know if this is something that has to do with consolidation, but over probably the last 20 classes that I've taught, and I might have 20 to 30 contractors in them, 30 to 40% of guys are 1 to 3 man shops who have been in business less than 2 years, 3 years. That's kind of telling me something.
Yep.
We've got this whole group of new people that are coming in and they're hungry for work. And a lot of them are being fed by these e-commerce companies. So just a warning, guys, for anyone that's listening, okay? This market's changing. This business is changing. Everything's changing. So, what does the investment look like? Because every contractor in that's listening to this is always going to, go like, well, what does it cost? Is it a crazy figure? And look, we're talking about price, so let's get to the nitty gritty here.
Exactly. And you can visit contractorcommerce.com and we've got our pricing live because that'd be one thing if we're pre-con
price and then don't show you price. That's not going to be good.
be like the total missed point. But investment starts at $500 a month, which can fit, a lot of contractors' needs. We do have some higher plans, but that gets access to the entire platform. So $6,000 for the year. I mean, you could sell 3 systems and cover your cost, and that happens within a month.
Sell 3 systems off of this software, you would have a big problem.
Yes.
Especially with how Google is ranking things today of what you just told us, because that's a huge secret that I don't think many contractors actually know.
Yeah.
I have to actually go on and research that myself and go look at that, to see how that's all going to play out, So if a contractor leaves my training, today and wants to get started, what's the first step? What do I tell them? What can they expect in the first 30 to 60 days?
Yeah, so we make the process simple. They're just signing up for the plan of their choice, and then we start onboarding with them. So getting their company profile, getting plugged on the website, getting the pricing. So what element of the software are you really wanting to hone in and launch first? Typically, that's the pricing because that's where the ROI is at. And like I mentioned earlier, anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks onboarding. We are giving them the first month essentially off, so they don't pay for the service until after 30 days, because we want to get them onboarded and live with some strategies like marketing. And we can get into that, when we meet with your customers if they're interested. But yeah, we make it simple.
Simple is easy. That's what I say. Don't make it harder than it is. Well, Lisa, I want to thank you today for coming on. I think this is fantastic information. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us. I know we've been trying to get this done for the past 2 or 3 months, and you're just a busy girl, kid. So go out there and continue knocking them dead. And, congratulations on your improvements and, climbing up that corporate ladder, and just keep doing what you're doing. So, all right.
I appreciate it, Mike, and it's good to partner with you, and thanks for believing in what we do.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.